Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're taking on something that might honestly feel a bit impossible at first glance: mastering the absolute most critical parts of the CUET mathematics syllabus in just 5 days. Yep, you heard that right, 5 days. If you're a focused learner looking to turn that exam anxiety into highly actionable daily targets, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to unpack a super-structured 5-day sprint derived straight from the 5-day CUET Mathematics Intensive Mastery Plan. It's rigorous, it's intense, but most importantly, it is incredibly effective if you actually stick to the framework.
So to make this manageable, here is our chronological sprint. First, the blueprint for your strategy and routine. Then, days 1 and 2 cover foundations. Days 3 and 4 go heavy on calculus. Day 5 is the final push. And finally, we'll talk about winning without burning out. Let's get into it.
Section 1. The Blueprint. Setting your daily rhythm for success.
Now, the source material here is absolutely clear. You cannot just study randomly. It doesn't work. You really have to segment your day to categorize your brain's workload and prevent that feeling of total overwhelm. Look at the morning session, about 2 to 3 hours. That is strictly for learning concepts and formulas when your brain is at its absolute freshest. Then the afternoon, a solid 2 hours, is dedicated exclusively to NCRT examples. And your evening? That's for application. 2 hours of multiple choice questions, previous year questions or PYQs, and daily revision. Basically, you're breaking your day into absorption, foundation, and application.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the chronological progression of the 5-day gauntlet we're about to run. We aren't just jumping around aimlessly, right? We start with algebra, move into spatial geometry, tackle the absolute beast of calculus over 2 full days, and then finish up with linear programming, functions, and a mock test. It's just a brilliant logical flow that builds real momentum.
And here is the intensity of this sprint, 400. Over these 5 days, 400 to 500 MCQs is your ultimate target, alongside over 100 previous year questions. Now, I know that sounds like a massive number, right? But when you actually break it down into those specific evening blocks we just talked about, it really only equates to about 80 to 120 MCQs a day. It's actually highly achievable if you just trust the pacing.
All right, Section 2. Days 1 and 2. Foundations. Setting the algebraic and geometric groundwork.
So day 1 is all about matrices and determinants. You're going to focus on matrix operations, inverses, cofactors, and minors. Your target here, 40 MCQs on matrices, 40 on determinants, and 15 PYQs. But hey, here is the absolute most crucial instruction for day 1 from our source plan. You literally must write down all the properties of determinants once during your nightly revision. Don't just read them, physically write them down.
Because think about it. You're going to need to rapidly recall properties, like the rule that the determinant of matrix A times B equals the determinant of A times the determinant of B. Dedicating active brain space to core formulas like this is exactly why those morning concept sessions exist in the first place. If you know this instantly, you save precious minutes on the actual exam.
Moving right along to day 2, the focus shifts to spatial concepts, specifically vector algebra and 3D geometry. We're talking dot products, direction cosines, and the distance between points and lines. You're aiming for 90 MCQs total and specific diagram-based PYQs. And the explicit instruction here, make sure you review all your vector formulas right before you go to sleep.
And this brilliantly illustrates the kind of thing you'll be reviewing: the foundational dot product formula. Vector A dot vector B equals the magnitude of A times the magnitude of B times the cosine of the angle between them. This is a totally perfect candidate for that growing mental library you're building every single night.
Next up, Section 3. Days 3 and 4. Calculus heavy. Tackling differentiation and integration head-on.
Okay, day 3. This is where we hit continuity, differentiability, and the application of derivatives, or AOD. You're practicing the chain rule, the product rule, finding tangents, normals, maxima, and minima. But please note this required action item: make a 1-page differentiation formula sheet. Just 1 page. The physical act of condensing all this information down into a single page is just an incredibly powerful memory tool.
Your 1-pager is going to be built on absolute bedrock formulas. Kind of like the power rule here. The derivative of x to the power of n is n times x to the power of n minus 1. This goes straight into your day 3 morning concept session, so you can apply it completely effortlessly when the evening rolls around.
Then, on day 4, we shift from breaking things apart to putting them back together. Integrals and differential equations. You'll tackle standard integration, substitution, definite integrals, and variable separable equations. Now, the plan gives a highly specific, explicit instruction for this day. Revise your standard integrals exactly 3 times. Not once, not twice, 3 times. That repetition is absolutely the key to mastery here.
So the crucial point is, whatever you do, do not forget the plus c. When you're dealing with indefinite integrals, leaving off that constant of integration is just an incredibly common, easy mistake to make. But the daily repetitive practice that's mapped out in this blueprint, it's specifically designed to make including that plus c an automatic, thoughtless reflex.
Section 4, Day 5, the final push, wrapping up topics and testing your stamina.
All right, we made it to Day 5. Your final syllabus topics here are linear programming, relations, and functions. You'll be identifying feasible regions, using the corner point method, and finding domain and range. Your targets for the day are 30 graph-specific questions and 50 mixed MCQs. But the true culmination of this entire 5-day sprint is taking one mini mock test. This is the moment where you actually prove your newfound readiness to yourself.
Now, let's move to something absolutely vital and see how this builds your daily momentum. Every single night of this 5-day plan, you must spend 30 to 45 minutes on this specific routine. You review the formulas, you analyze the questions you got wrong, you memorize short tricks, and you identify patterns in the PYQs. Seriously, analyzing your wrong questions tonight is exactly what fuels your accuracy for tomorrow.
Section 5. Winning without burning out. Sustaining the pace for 5 rigorous days.
Look, these habits are non-negotiable. You have to sleep 6 to 7 hours, you have to take short breaks, and you have to drink water. On the flip side, do not try to study continuously for 6 hours straight. Your brain will literally just stop absorbing information. Don't start using 5 different reference books either. Stick to your core resources, like the NCERT books and one really good MCQ bank. And never, ever skip that nightly revision we just talked about.
If you follow the blueprint, your final focus is going to naturally sharpen onto these 4 pillars: formula memory from those morning sessions, speed and accuracy built during your afternoon and evening practice, and PYQ repetition to really understand the mind of the exam. Make no mistake, these are the actual mechanics of a high score.
The source material leaves us with this incredibly empowering thought. Even in 5 focused days, you can build strong CUET math preparation with consistent practice. It is entirely possible, guys. The structure is there, the targets are crystal clear, and the whole roadmap is fully laid out for you. So, I want to leave you with a question to really chew on. Which part of your daily routine will you optimize first to kick off your 5-day sprint? Are you going to carve out that uninterrupted morning block for formulas, or are you going to commit first to the 30-minute nightly review? Take this blueprint, apply it to your schedule today, and go conquer that exam. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy studying.